Hi, my name is Elizabeth Ricardo, and I'm a junior associate with Post and Beam. I'm newly hired, so I felt that it would be a good opportunity for me to interview my coworkers and colleagues and get to know the company better. So I'm here with Duke Sherman.
Hello.
He's a partner with Post and Beam, and so hoping you could tell me a little bit more about what you do here, specifically in relation to finance and mobile, because I believe that's sort of your realm of expertise.
Well, I'm a managing partner here and one of the founders of the company, and we've been focusing on finance for quite a bit of time now, and it's an interesting time. We have a couple different clients who've come in over the last couple of months who are sort of addressing where we're at with regards to like innovation and communication, which is our sort of new positioning. And one of our clients, which is interesting, is in the wealth management space and a large wealth management group, and they came to us because they were looking to create an iPad application for their network of wealth financial advisors. And it's interesting because there's really four areas of focus where corporations, banking, commercial, and consumer is going, which is mobile, social, cloud, and collaborative.
Okay.
And all those areas, those four key areas, are important on both the consumer side and on the commercial side. And for Wealth Manager, for example, the idea was, how do you create an environment where you can free a financial advisor from their desk so they are spending more time in the field working with their clients? It's interesting because it actually translates over to the consumer side with smaller and larger banks, because they also can sort of get into that space, and how can they relate more closely towards their clients. Well, our background is sort of interesting because we come from a background of public relations, marketing, advertising, interactive, and we've been working in mobile now for the last couple of years in a new field. And so what we do is we'll come in and we'll look to solve business problems, communication problems, and design problems from a user experience perspective. In the banking area, what's fascinating is that you have this whole new world of apps and mobile, which people are targeting. And going back to those four key areas of mobile, social, collaborative, and cloud, a lot of these banks are really missing it. And what they're doing is they've entered this arms race with each other where they're just trying to get these apps out because they become a communications metaphor, if you will, for the industry and for what the standing of the bank is. So they rush these things out that are very transactional, and they really don't engage the consumer on a level where you're actually adding value.
So essentially what you're telling me is that the mobile world has really changed the face of banking.
The mobile world really has changed the face of banking because you've got just different inputs and different ways that people want to access that information. I think the challenge for most banks, though, is that what they tend to try to do is recreate the web experience on these different form factors, which isn't what they should be doing. And it's interesting because if you go through an audit of almost all the applications out there for banks, they're not doing as well as groups like Mint is doing. E-Trade, from a brokerage perspective, is actually sort of getting into that space where they're trying to move into what's called the semantic web, and people have been talking about. And what that is taking information that's layered throughout different areas of different types of personalized information and customizing the experience.
In your opinion, who stands to gain the most in this new environment?
Well, I think the consumer stands to gain the most in this new environment. If you look at groups like Mint, there's a lot of learning and education that happens there. Why? Because what Mint is doing is they're not focusing on just trying to leverage the transaction capability of the bank itself. What they're doing is they're acting as an aggregator and then taking that information and trying to teach you something. They're teaching you about budgeting, they're teaching you about how you can save better on interest rates, they're teaching you ways that you can save and create goals. They're informing you when variances happen on your account and things that you should look at in other products that are out there. So I think the consumer has a lot to gain, especially from not having just an application that's used from a transactional standpoint.
How will this evolve over time?
I think the arms race component of it's definitely a trend, because right now you sign up with a bank, and if the bank doesn't have an app, there's some weird feeling that they're really lacking in technology. We work with a variety of different banks, not only on a client level but from a company standpoint, and it's fascinating to see the variance you have in terms of who can be the first to have scannable checks at an ATM, who can actually have scannable checks on an iPhone. Those are the types of things that are trend because people are just trying to leverage technology quickly. Where that's changing, though, is once this information actually becomes useful, that's going to be longer lasting. But to do that, people need to step out of that and think and innovate differently, so they're not just trying to keep up with the others and what they're doing. So what we're doing is we're taking our experience from arts and culture, architecture, design, these other key areas we've worked in, other experiences of other clients, and we're trying to sort of bring all these different things together.
And so they dovetail into one unique.
Correct.
Well, that's great. That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you all tune in to the next in our series.
Thank you very much.